and we both said sorry to each other. So I know I'm a Canadian. Yeah, there's a lot of Canadian things here today. I'm happy to see Canadian beer, Canadian food, Canadian people. I give it all up for some Canadian weather, right? So I'll start with a joke. Justin Bieber walks into a bar. There is no punchline because ruining Canadians' image in front of the whole world is not funny. No, it's not funny. So I love Justin Bieber just as much as the next guy. Like, do you love Justin Bieber? Don't say yes. Do you love Justin Bieber? Don't say no, please. Do you love Justin Bieber? No, that's the next guy. I love Justin Bieber just as much as the next guy. Justin Bieber got caught at the airport in New York City a few months ago. Apparently he flew his private jet into JFK and the customs came on and they could smell something suspicious that is illegal in America and not so illegal in much of Canada. I'm not allowed to say what it is by law. And they smelled it and he didn't know what to say. But if you're a good Canadian and you get caught with what he got caught with, you're supposed to blame it on Corey and Trevor, if you know what to do. You guys know Corey and Trevor? Trailer Park Boys. You're supposed to blame it on Corey and Trevor if you get caught with anything illegal. That's who you blame it on. And I saw last year at the Winter Olympics, they had a Molson Canadian refrigerator. And you could only open it if you saw it on, I saw it on YouTube. You could only open this beer refrigerator with Molson Canadian inside. It was locked. You could only open it unless you had a passport, a Canadian passport. You could open it and give everybody Molson Canadian. And this year, in 2014, they have it in Europe again, but you can only open it if you sing "O Canada," which somebody just told me that they changed the words. I didn't know that. I've been in Taiwan a long time. Did they really change the words to "O Canada"? Some of them? Does anybody know? Okay, forget it. So I think though, if you sing anything by Justin Bieber, the thing blows up, self-destructs. So I've been in Taiwan a long time, and the one thing, being from Canada and being from Winnipeg, right in the middle of Canada, I feel claustrophobic. Do any other Canadians feel claustrophobic in Taiwan? Yeah, right? I mean, there's mountains like only 8 miles away. I'm like, they're getting too close. I feel really claustrophobic because this sounds crazy, but if you're in Canada, if I'm in Winnipeg, if I need to, I don't know why this would happen. I'm not sure when this would ever happen. I don't know the crazy situation would happen, but if I really, really ever need to, I can walk to New York City, right? If you're in Canada, you can walk to New York City or Los Angeles if you need to. I don't know why that would happen, but here you can't do it, and I feel claustrophobic. I cannot. How far can you walk in Taiwan? 100 miles. Then it's swimming, and who can do that for more than 200 miles if you're not Canadian, right? So being from Canada and Taiwan, when I go back to Canada, I've been here a long time. People say, "So Sean, your Chinese must be very good." And well, if you test me here, it's no, it's not going to be good. But when I go back home, I can lie to them, right? And they're not going to know any different. So they say to me, they say, "Sean, okay, you're in Taiwan a long time. How do you say coffee?" I'm like, "That's easy. Something harder. Something harder." They say, "Well, how do you say where is the train station?" Come on, I've been there 10 years. Come on, give me something harder, really hard. They say, "Okay, well, how do you say my dog's tooth enamel is wearing very thin?" "No problem," I say. It's Zhongshan Shuanglian Minchuan Silu Yuanshan Jiantan Shilin Mingde Jishan Jianjan. There you go. Those are all MRT stations. The more MRT stations they open, the more Chinese I can speak when I'm back in Canada. This happens when I go to 7-Eleven in Taiwan or any store. You walk in, and of course many of us, we can understand more Mandarin Chinese than we can speak. And of course many people in Taiwan, of course, understand more English than they are willing to speak. So when you go to a 7-Eleven, or any store, I'm going to speak English, and the man behind the counter is going to speak Chinese to me, and we'll get along just fine, right? He'll be saying, "Would you like a straw with your beer?" And I'll say, no straw with my beer, and here's your change, and would you like, that's 2 for 1, and I'm like, no, that's too much. All these things. I'll be speaking English, he's speaking Chinese, and I realize we're kind of like Han Solo and Chewbacca from Star Wars, right? I'm speaking English, and he's speaking something else, but we can both understand each other. But then what happens right at the end? We turn into one of those movies from the 80s, you know, where the people change bodies, right? And they change bodies, because right when he gives me the change, and I take my receipt, I say xie xie, and he says thank you. I'm like, oh, now I speak Chinese and you speak English. Right when we're finished. That's another thing that happens in the store. Maybe this is because I'm Canadian, I think, or maybe I'm just like this kind of guy. I'll be, maybe I'm taking the MRT, so I have a book, something to read. Then I decide to go into a bookstore, and I'm like, oh, I can't go into the bookstore. I have a book already. They're going to think I've stolen it. You know, am I the only one that does that? Am I the only one? Do you guys even know what I'm talking? You know, you walk in, you think they're going to think I stole this book I'm carrying. All right, that's what goes on in my head. I even, when I go to the store now, you ever get that? Probably you guys still do this. When you buy something, like if you go to the bookstore, you buy a book. You buy War and Peace. What do you do when you give it to the person working at the store? You show them War and Peace. They don't care if you're buying War and Peace. They want to see the UPC code on the back, right? You know, but you always give the product to people, like, I'm buying this. Like at the bookstore, you want to look smart, you know, because you don't want them to see you buying a stupid book. Right. I'm the only guy that worries about this. So, I get people, I tell them I'm from Canada, they say, oh, do you know? And before they finish, I'm like, oh, they're going to, then I think they think, because I'm from Canada, I'm going to know everybody from Canada. But then they finish. Do you know Clint from Winnipeg? I'm like, oh wait, yeah, I do know Clint from Winnipeg. Yeah, good. I know Handel from Winnipeg. Handel from Vancouver too. And then they say, oh, Sean, you're from Canada. Have you ever seen a polar bear or a moose? I'm like, again, I'm gonna need some names. You know, because some of those moose are, I don't talk to them anymore. And there's some polar bears I went to high school with, and I don't talk to them anymore either. Yeah, we have to keep the humor clean today. There's kids here. Can't do anything funny, they said. So the other thing is, of course, the weather. I come from Winnipeg, which is like one of the coldest places in the world per capita. I read somewhere like it's the coldest place with the most number of people. Like Siberia is colder, but it doesn't have as many people as Winnipeg. And last winter in Winnipeg was the coldest winter in like 125 years. And there was 15 days where it was below minus 30. And like even at noon, it never went above minus 30. So I was here in Taiwan when it was warm, and all my friends on Facebook were saying, oh, it's so cold today. And everybody started talking about how it was actually colder than the surface of Mars. Right? Mars, the planet Mars, goes down to minus 25 or whatever. And Winnipeg was minus 35 for like 22 days in a row. So everybody in Winnipeg was saying, oh, you know what they should do? Is they should send Winnipeggers to Mars for the first trip to Mars. And I was here in Taiwan thinking, I'm not sure if NASA does that. You know, what are the qualifications for being an astronaut? You know, there's many things you have to do. I'm not sure if the number one thing is complaining about the weather on Facebook. I don't know if that's going to do it. Right? And that's the thing about weather in Taiwan. I tell people back home, it feels like, I told everybody, you know, Taipei in the summer is pretty much a sauna. Do you agree? Yeah. Then I thought, no, that's a lie. Completely untrue. Taipei in the summer is not like a sauna. Sauna is dry. It's like a steam room. It's like a steam room. They say, how can you? They try to put it politely, a little bit more politely than it gets put to me here in Taipei. They say, Sean, you've been in Taipei a long time and it's really hot. How do you maintain your weight? I'm like, sorry? Like, well, it's pretty hot there, right? Yeah. When it gets hot here, I only want to eat salads and stuff. So how do you in Taipei when it's really hot? How do you stay so fat? I'm like, oh. Well, I found a way. You can find, if you need to, you can find a way to do anything, right? I can stay 250 pounds anywhere. And that happens a lot here where I've been called fat, like where, you know, in Canada, to be called fat, someone has to be pretty angry with you. You know, like it's got to be an insult. Like, some guy could, where's my wife? Some guy could sleep with my wife. And my friend would say, that fat bastard slept with your wife. And I'd say, hey, let's not don't bring his weight into it, the guy was wrong. He should not have slept with my wife. Don't bring his weight into it. That's not really fair. But in Taiwan, you just get called. Like, people come up to you across the street, and they're like, hey, sir, come here. I'm like, yes. You're fat. I'm like, oh, God. And I was at McDonald's a few months ago. I got a coffee. All I wanted was a coffee. And the woman at McDonald's said, do you want cream and sugar? I said, no, thanks. She said, oh, because you're fat. I'm like, oh my God, this is McDonald's. You can do that. And then one time I was at Starbucks, and I was sitting at a table, and the woman next to me, she got a phone call, and she answered the phone in Chinese, and I can understand this. She answered the phone. She said, I'm at Starbucks. I'm reading it doesn't matter to me yet. I am not included yet. And then her friend must have asked her, where are you in Starbucks? Like it's a big... She says, next to the fat American, in Chinese. I'm like, oh, what? That's half of that is totally rude, and the other half is totally uncalled for. No, not American, right? So I'm like, oh my God. But I got my revenge on her. I got my revenge on that woman. You know what I did? I walked away. That's Canadian revenge. See, because her friend can't find her now. Bye. All right, everybody. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Woo! Let's give it up for Sean. You can see Sean at Republic of Comedy Taiwan stand-up, where he performs his good material. In fact, our next show is tonight at 9:30 at Comedy Club. So we're actually trying to buy a little time for our next band because not everyone's here. So I'm going to rip off a little comedy routine.